Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1800 AN. Today's date is February 25th, 2019, and the title of the episode is Trade Deals, Tariffs Delayed, Xi, Complicated Economic Changes Coming. Now, before we get started, I want to talk about the Patriots. Now, the New England Patriots, they're not the only Patriots winning at the moment. Our Patriot-in-Chief, Donald Trump, is winning a few carries as he goes into his own third quarter. As we approach the end zone of his presidency, a few things stand out. Record low unemployment, the stock market reaching its high level ever, the first major tax reform in over 30 years, and the lowest jobless claims since 1973. Yes, that's 46 years. Now, that's worth celebrating, and that's what Noble Gold has done. They've commissioned the stunning President Trump 2020 Freedom Coins. You can get these in 0.999% fine solid silver and even 24 karat solid gold. You can put them in your IRA, 401k rollover, or you can display them in your home or office in this stylish presentation box along with their certificate of authenticity. I know the last one sold out, so if you want to touch down on these, you better start running. Noble Gold is running a special offer. If you buy 3 coins, use the code X22 to get free shipping. Just click on the link below. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, if we start to look at what is happening with the economy and with China, with the Brexit, with what's happening out in Europe, with Italy, we can see there's a perfect storm brewing. And while all this is happening, we have gold, which is rising right now, which is very interesting because we need to go back and we know that Q has told us that gold is going to be bringing down the Fed. We understand that the deep state, the central bank, they were trying to create a recession by raising the interest rates, by the Fed unwinding its balance sheet. They knew that this would bring down the economy. But I think what is happening right now is that Trump has turned this all around on them. He tweeted out today the following. Since my election as president, the Dow Jones is up 43%, the NASDAQ composite almost 50%. Great news for your 401k as they continue to grow. We are bringing back America faster than anyone thought possible. Now remember, the name of the game is to control the narrative. And the deep state, the central bankers, they were moving to bring down the entire system. This is why they put out the articles with, in 2019, the economy will be slowing, and in 2020, we will enter a recession. Now, if you look at some of the mainstream media articles, they're kind of flip-flopping on this because they see that the Fed is not exactly doing what they want. Now, Trump is continually tweeting out there, letting everyone know that the economy is better than it has ever been. Now, why is he continually mentioning the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, and all of that? Because this is what the central bank, this is what the mainstream media, this is what the deep state used in the past. How's the economy doing? Well, look at the stock market. How's the economy doing? Look at the stock market. The stock market is not the economy, but Trump knows, the Patriots know, that if you point out the stock market, everyone is used to looking at this. And this is what he's doing. He's telling everyone the economy is doing absolutely fantastically. Moving into the 2020 elections, guess what? The deep state, the central bankers, they're going to be stuck. Now, I mentioned before, we have China, we have the Brexit, we have Europe, Italy, many other countries within the European Union, Germany. Growth is starting to slow. Actually, Italy, they're hurting right now. Same thing with France. But when you start to look at all of this and you start to put all this together, you start to see a bigger picture. And we're going to be getting into that in just a minute. But I wanted to go through Trump's tweet with the China deal. Now, it looks like they're making headway on the deal. And Trump tweeted out the following. I am pleased to report that the U.S. has made substantial progress in our trade talks with China on import structural issues, including intellectual property protection, technology transfer, agricultural, services, currency, and many other issues. As a result of these very productive talks, I'll be delaying the U.S. increase in tariffs now scheduled for March 1st. Assuming both sides make additional progress, we'll be planning for a summit for President Xi and myself at Mar-a-Lago to conclude an agreement. A very good weekend for U.S. and China. He continued. China trade deal and more in advanced stages. Relationship between our two countries is very strong. I have therefore agreed to delay U.S. tariff hikes. Let's see what happens. Now, Trump is putting out the message that the talks are doing very well. They're hammering out a deal. And he delayed the tariffs. Now, everyone was afraid of this. Well, if the tariffs come into play and everything moves up, what was it, like 20%? Well, the economy is going to slow, growth is going to slow, everything's going to fall apart. Well, he just put the kibosh on that. And China right now, they are working with Trump, with Russia, and I believe this is a coordinated effort. Think about what is happening right now. Trump completely controls the Federal Reserve. People might not believe this, but look what has happened since he started contradicting the Fed. He told the Fed, listen, this is ridiculous. Stop raising the interest rates. If you continually raising the interest rates, the entire system is going to come down. We all knew this is what the Fed was about to do. We all knew this is what the deep state wanted. We all knew that when the Fed raises the rates like this in an illusionary economy, it brings the whole thing crashing down. Then we get word that the Fed is going to be in a holding pattern. They're not going to be raising rates anymore because they like to look at things. They like to see how the economy is doing. Well, think about it. Trump has been producing incredible numbers. Unemployment, the lowest we've ever seen. Stock market, all-time high. GDP numbers, fantastic. What is the Fed waiting for? What are they looking at? I mean, this is so much better than when Trump came into office and they had no problem raising the rates at that time. So Trump got the Fed to put everything on hold. Then we hear the Fed is thinking about, which they will do, they're thinking about slowing their unwinding and then stopping it. Well, they've already slowed it down a little bit. It looks like they're going to end up stopping it. Then we hear the Federal Reserve talking about cutting interest rates. Now, this is just unbelievable. This shows you that Trump is in control of the Federal Reserve. If the Federal Reserve, or when the Federal Reserve cuts interest rates, what happens here? They kick the can down the street. This is on purpose. What is happening outside of the United States right now? Well, Europe is in trouble. The Brexit talks aren't going well. They might be approaching a no-deal scenario. Italy is in trouble. France is in trouble. We know that the growth in Germany is slowing. The EU, they're not doing that well. Think about that for a second. That's where everything is slowing. The United States, when you look at it, it looks like it's doing fantastic. Trump is working on deals with China. Now, China just recently took their stimulus and they opened up the throttles, and it's something we've never seen before. This was on purpose to keep the economic system going. Remember, this is not a people system. This is the same economic system that the deep state have been using, the central banks have been using. Trump is using their weapons against them, using everything that they used before against them. So we have China working with Trump right now, trying to iron out trade deals to even out the playing field. While they're doing this, China is stimulating their economy to make sure that the economy doesn't fall apart. Remember, the central bank system is built on illusion. They need to keep it going one way or another so they can iron out new deals, create new deals. That's what's happening right now. At the same time, all of this is happening. Europe is slowing. The EU is in trouble. The UK would prosper if they remove themselves from the EU. China, open up the throttles for more stimulus. Trade deals are in the works. The Fed looks like they're in a holding pattern. They might even be reducing interest rates, and they're not going to be unwinding their balance sheet. At the same time all of this is happening, what's gold doing? Gold is inching its way up. Now that is very interesting. Now, yes, we have days that it's up, some days that are down. But overall, gold is continually moving up. They don't want gold to move that quickly because everyone would become aware of what is going on. So when Europe starts to fail, many people will start taking their funds out of euros and whatever other currency there is, and most likely they'll put it into the dollar. China is continually keeping the stimulus chugging along, making sure that the entire economic growth doesn't come to a screeching halt. As time goes on, the economy is going to start to fall apart. Gold is going to continually rise as more and more people come into the dollar and then see the gold rising. People then will switch out of the dollar into gold. And as more and more people switch into gold, what is happening here? We have Europe falling apart. We have the stimulus in China that can't last that long. We have all these players pouring their funds into the dollar. They're watching gold rise and the dollar most likely rise at the same time. Gold continually rises and people start scratching their head. What is going on here? Gold is continually moving up. Now we're at 2,000. Now we're at 2,500. Why is this happening at this time? People say, okay, I'm going to diversify. I'm going to take some of my funds out of the dollar and maybe out of the market and move it into gold. Other people are going to see this and more people are going to move into gold. All of a sudden, you have Europe failing. You have China. Well, their system can't survive the way it is right now. And you have countries, investors investing in gold. The gold price is moving up. But China, they protect their wealth. They have gold. Russia, they protected their wealth. They have gold. Germany repatriated their gold. The UK doesn't want to give Venezuela back their gold because they want to keep it. These countries know what's going on. Central banks, they've been acquiring gold. Why? Well, because they know their paper currency is going to be worth absolutely nothing. China right now is out there, and Xi Jinping is saying, we must be on guard against black swan risks while fending off gray rhino events. He said that the economy faces deep and complicated changes. Now that's very interesting because he's saying that something is going to change and it's going to be complicated. And of course it's going to be complicated. When you're coming out of a central bank system, it's going to be complicated. When the system crashes, it's going to be complicated. When you're transitioning, it's going to be complicated. Right now, we are on the cusp of moving into a completely different system. And it looks like the perfect storm is brewing. Now, of course, a lot of this has been planned out. They knew that the central bank economy is one gigantic illusion. And I say they, and I'm talking about Trump and the Patriots. They knew that the EU, they would fall apart once the Brexit goes through, and they didn't abide by the EU deal. Trump and the Patriots, Xi and Putin, they knew that they only can take the central bank system so far before it completely falls apart. And I do believe this is why China, or Xi Jinping, the leader of China, is saying we must guard against black swan and fend off gray rhino events, because he knows that this system can't survive the way it is. There's going to be changes. They're going to be complicated. We know this is the transition. And Trump He's doing everything he possibly can to work out a deal to even the playing field, bring manufacturing back, make other deals, so this way everything isn't lopsided. Remember, he's undoing everything the globalists, the central banks, have done over the many, many years. And what's happening is they're trying to keep this system moving along as long as they possibly can to set everything up. But they know that something might come out of left field, which brings the whole thing down. It could be Europe. It could be Italy. It could be the Brexit, which could have a cascading effect, which brings the entire system to a screeching halt. And I do believe this is why Xi, Trump, and Putin, they're all working together, trying to keep this system alive long enough to hammer out the trade deals, to get everything set up, to undo what the globalists have done and set the transition in the right direction. And you can see this is where we're all headed. There's a perfect storm brewing right now, and we can see how gold will bring down the central bank system, because once gold starts to rise, the paper currency, people will look at this and say it's absolutely worthless. I'm going into gold, and more people will go into gold. The gold price will then rise, and there'll be nothing to stop it. And before you know it, they'll be saying that we're going into a gold-backed system or a gold confidence building system. And you can see how we're maneuvering in this direction. China and Russia, they're not really that worried. They've been purchasing a lot of gold. Think about what they purchased it for, and think about every time it moves up $500, $1,000 an ounce. Think about how many ounces they have. This is their insurance policy. Q has been telling us that we have gold, and gold will bring down the Fed. And there are going to be structure changes coming. We're getting closer and closer to that time. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.